Welcome back to another episode of Armstrong Avenue. And this isn't just another episode, this is our Christmas edition, you might say. I mean, we're coming out 2 days before Christmas. It's cold in Georgia, it's colder than it has been in 4 years in Georgia. And I don't know what to do. What's up, Scott?
What's going on, Big Mike? Yeah, it's a little bit. I'm down here in Pensacola, Florida, and when you hear the word Florida, the first thing you think of is, oh, sunshine and beauty, and it's really cold here too. So yeah, it is what it is. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? You light a fire and you off to the races, and you watch wrestling
yeah,
and
yeah.
listen to Armstrong Avenue podcast, baby.
And hey, and you know what would go great with this cold weather? Armstrong Avenue podcast, a little s'mores from Bones Coffee.
Oh man, you ain't kidding. A big cup of coffee.
Yeah. Yeah. A good hot coffee, not like my wife likes it, that iced coffee that
Yeah,
doesn't do anything for me. I
yeah,
need it
me
burning
neither.
hot, give me the sweats. But hey, before we get into anything, dude, about this episode, Bones Coffee, this just happened today. Well, yesterday. It was announced Main Event Wrestling changed the venue for their Griffin, Georgia show, January 28th,
Oh,
due to the massive amount of tickets that have been bought, and they said, "Hey, we got to get a bigger venue."
man, that's a very good problem to have, Mike. I did not know that. That's a really good problem to have. But when you put people on the show like Lady Frost, who is like the one, I mean, arguably one of the top lady female wrestlers uh, that is unsigned right now, and I don't know how, but I don't know how she's not signed to one of the big three, but she, man, she can go, and she does stuff off the top rope. That's You just don't think of a female doing that kind of stuff, or I don't. I guess I'm old school like that, but um, she is an amazing talent, and so. When you sign people like that for the show, Blake, no, what's his name?
Blake Christian.
Blake Christian, that dude was with NXT for a good long period of time, and I'm telling you, you see him in the ring, he can go. And when MEW signed those two talent, I thought, wow, those are big talent to be going into a for ticket sales for a National Guard Armory. So it only makes sense that we would have to go to a bigger venue to to house the demand. I mean,
Yep,
that's what it's all about, is bringing the people what they want,
exactly.
and so this is a part of it. So I heard Buff Bagwell's on the show too.
Yeah,
Man,
Buff's coming in. He's actually gonna be doing commentary for a little
wow,
for us. So I'm excited about that.
that's awesome. Yeah, this show has just gotten bigger and bigger, and again, it is January 28th, Griffin, Georgia, and the name of the building again, Mike.
It's going to be at the Kiwanis Fairgrounds, which is literally right next to the National Guard Armory.
Oh,
So
very
if you
cool.
go if even if you don't hear this and you go to the armory, you'll see all the cars next door.
Right.
it's
Yes.
I
We,
think it's the same parking lot too.
I think
So
we need to put an arrow on the door at the armory pointing towards the fairgrounds.
I
That's awesome,
I
man.
yeah,
That's
it's
hey,
going to be
look,
fun.
what a great way to start 2023 for MEW is to have that type of problem. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, we don't have enough seats, so we're going next door to
Yeah.
the bigger venue. And man, if that's the way 2023 looks for MEW, then they are off to the races. And look,
Yep.
again, the IWN app is, um, when we talk about MEW, the IWN app is what has created all of this. That app started, one follower, or one download, two downloads, until now it's gotten so big, and they're sponsoring shows, and man, from the ground up. So it's for me personally, it's fun to be a part of, and I'm very thankful.
Yeah. I'm excited for the show. January 28th can't get here fast enough. I have been at let's see. I've been at every show with Main Event Wrestling since February of this year, helping out in any way that I can, and just to see it grow from what it was to where we're at now with it is exciting.
Yes,
Um,
it reminds me a lot of this podcast, Mike.
yeah, yeah,
Remember when we started and and I called you and you said, "Yeah, I think like we had like 10 downloads." And I started laughing and I said, "Well, hey, it's baby steps. That's a
yeah,
start." And
yep,
we're constantly reminded that it's a marathon, not a sprint. And so we've stayed with it. And then you sent me not long ago something that said we were in the top 20% or so. I forget what the
yeah,
text was, but it just makes me, when I saw that, the first thing I did was look back and go, wow, we really started just two dudes not really knowing each other and not really knowing what we were doing. And then it brings us to this. And hey, look, more Bones coffee to you. You know
yep,
what I mean? I mean, we've been very fortunate to have the listeners that we have, or the viewers, or and now I have been told that uh, we're being requested to put our show on YouTube, the entire show instead of just clips. And I don't know where that's going, but look, it's an honor to still be here talking, and that's the
yeah.
truth.
Yeah, it's this has been a fun ride. And 2022 was fun. Like you said, we started really not knowing what we were doing, and now we've got a group of loyal listeners that expect us every Sunday. And then hey, it's December, it's the holidays, and this we've had to miss a couple, but that's all right. I have it's family first always, and that's that's
Family
that's been
first.
our motto from the get go. We
Yes.
if we
Yes.
can't make a week because one of us is doing something, then we can't make it. This is fun for us. It's not a
So
job. It's
Mike, let's just be totally transparent with our listeners or our viewers. And like yesterday, we were going to record this, and I text you about, hey, look, um, I can go earlier, I can go later, and you said I am at my son's Christmas play or parade or whatever you said in the text. And as soon as I read it, what's the first thing I text you back?
you say, hey man, we can do it tomorrow if that works better.
Yes,
Family.
because it is family first. And I know that look, if you can't identify with anything I say or anything Mike says, if you are a listener or a viewer, I know you had a family or have a family, and you can identify with taking time for your child, or taking time for your brother, sister, aunt, uncle, grandparent, and just thinking about the reason for the season and
Yep.
just being together. Uh, and so look, look, I don't want to put our listeners or viewers on second, but at the same time, I feel like family first, just like you were
Yep.
talking about.
Yep.
And so I'm really glad you got to spend time with your family yesterday. I'm really glad we get to do this today. And hey,
Yep.
Christmas is coming, man. What'd you
Yep.
get me?
A bag of Bones coffee.
Hey, I will take that all day long. And a collar and elbow T-shirt that
Heck
says
yeah.
Armstrong Avenue Pod.
Yeah, exactly. You guys listen to that. We're still waiting. Man, I gotta do a quick shout out to this. I can't remember the name of this place, but it was in Sevierville, Tennessee. You were talking about spending family time, and last weekend and or week we spent a long vacation with my wife and my kids, my mom, my dad, my sister, my grandfather, my aunt, and it was just a great family getaway to Gatlinburg. And we went to this Christmas lights drive through. Man, I don't know how much time they put into this thing, but it was choreographed to music through the radio, and $40 for a car full of people, and it was more than worth it.
That
And
sounds awesome, man. That sounds
I
cool.
but what was even more worth it was the fact that our cabin was supposed to have internet and TV and all that, and none of it worked. We spent 4 days with no internet, no TV, and just me and my family playing card games, spending time together, doing things we haven't done with each other in probably 7 or 8 years, all of us sitting around a table playing dice. Just
Hey, the best part about it, everybody's still alive. Nobody killed anybody.
yeah, yeah, because we were all hammered on all that Tennessee moonshine.
Yeah, they definitely sell it up there. That's for sure.
Every corner we went around, we found a distillery, and they were like, "Hey, come try a free sample." And free
Yeah.
samples were 13 shots, and by the time I was done, I couldn't walk.
Oh, that's so funny.
But we did
That's
take
cool,
my
man. That's good family time.
and we did take my son to this place. I sent you some pictures of it, where it's like a Build-A-Bear for RC cars.
Oh wow, yeah.
It was
Those pictures were awesome.
insane. That boy,
I could not show them to my grandson because he would have wanted. He'd say, "Pop, let's go there." I can't take him.
yeah, yeah, right. I can't take him again. It was $105. I could never. I don't know, man. That smile though, it was worth it.
Come
That
on,
smile was
Mike.
worth
You're a big money ball player,
it.
man.
Shoot,
You
man.
got that kind of money.
I wish. I wish. It was fun though. We had a lot of fun. We
That's
enjoyed it.
awesome.
That's what
Yeah,
the holidays are all about.
it
Getting out
is.
and having fun with
Amen,
family.
man. It is family. And look, Mike. At the end of the day, you're a young dude, same age as my son. I'm old as everybody's granddaddy listening to this, and so what I can tell you for sure is you get to be about my age and you realize money just comes and goes. Make yourself happy. I mean, that is the truth. Just make yourself happy. So I'm so glad you did that with your family, man. That is what the holidays are all about. That's for sure.
We had a lot of fun, man. We enjoyed it. And now I'm back here and we're ready for this episode. And let's dive into it and let's get to talking, man, about Christmas and wrestling. So Southeastern Continental, did you guys wrestle at Christmas time, or how did that work? Did they give you the day off and say, "Hey, don't worry about coming in"? I doubt that 'cause I know how people are.
Yeah.
But
No, it was so in Southeastern, when I first started at that time, it was just in this area. And Birmingham, Alabama was it was like it was like our biggest city that we ran. And so we would do Christmas night at Boutwell Auditorium in Birmingham, and I want to say it seated like, I don't know, they had a crow's nest, and when it was open for seating, I want to say it would do like 6 or 8 thousand people. And so we would run that on Christmas night, and it would usually be a sellout. And I'm talking early 80s. And so and that was our longest trip too. So we would have to leave at 2 in the afternoon, drive 4 hours, um, do the show, and then 4 hours home. And so, you think, hey, look, I mean, at least you got to wake up at home on Christmas morning and open presents and then get on the road and make all the money back that you had spent. Because back in those days, Christmas Day and Thanksgiving Day were the biggest paydays of the year because they drew the biggest houses. And so, uh, for a wrestler in those days, you always wanted to be able to work on Thanksgiving or Christmas because you made good money, and you woke up at home. And so that was always a bonus. Um, as time went on, and it became Continental, and they started running like Knoxville, Tennessee, along with uh, here where I am in Pensacola and this area, the Continental area. Then it became a double shot on a Christmas Day or a Thanksgiving Day, but we're talking about Christmas. So it would be like Birmingham, Alabama at 3 in the afternoon, and then and so if you did Birmingham at 3 in the afternoon, it was a 4 hour drive or something like that to Knoxville, Tennessee. And so you would get up, open the presents, but you would leave. You had 4 hours. You had to at least be there by 2 o'clock. And so you leave at 10 in the morning, drive like maniacs with really it's Christmas Day. Not really many people are on the road. And you would get there, and many times I would be on first, and I would do my match, and whoever was second would do their match, and we would jump in a car together, still in our wrestling gear, and drive 4 hours to Knoxville to pull in. And I think they would start at 8:30 in Knoxville, and would jump out of the car and go to the ring and wrestle the person you just wrestled, just a little while back in another state, and wrestle them again. And while it was taxing and hard and brutal, you got number one, the biggest payday of your year, because it was already Christmas Day. It was the biggest payday of the year, and you're getting it times two. And so it was a good payday for sure, back in those days. But when you're driving to that second show, and you're in the car, and you're in your boots are still on, you've laced them up, you've jumped in the car and gone, you realize, man, whoever's off that exit right there of the highway, they're sitting in their house, they're having a big, nice dinner, ham and potatoes and everything people have for Christmas dinner. And you're literally hoping that because back in those days, everything didn't stay open. Right now we're at the end of 2022. Everything stays open. And so, but back in those days, they didn't. So you would be in huge hopes of pulling off to a gas station to get gas, and they sell some kind of pre-wrapped sandwiches. And I'm going to tell you right now, there's been many a ham and cheese or bologna sandwich off an exit that was pre-wrapped that I had on Christmas Day that I was more than thankful for, because when you have nothing, something matters. And man, did it matter. And so, you'd get to Knoxville at 8 o'clock, and at 8:30 we're going in the ring, and it was warming up all over again. And you got to think about, as a fan, you watch wrestling and you turn on the TV and you see what's thrown in front of you, the bright lights and the music and the person's entrance, and they come out and they wrestle for 6 or 8 minutes, and then they go back to the dressing room. That's what you get to see. But what you don't see is if they got up and left their house at 10 o'clock on Christmas morning and drove 4 hours sitting in everybody's driven a car or been in a car. So the position you sit in, and you think about driving 4 hours and then falling down a number of times and then jumping back in a car and sitting in that same position again. Your back, your shoulders, your neck, everything starts cramping up. And then you get to the next town and you got to do it again. And the second town is where you literally did a lot of stretching before you went to the ring, because that's how you get hurt. If you don't warm up, you can get hurt bad. And in 2022, with the major companies, they have doctors and trainers, and they see the problems that can arise with an injury. And so that's what the trainers and doctors are for, is to keep that from happening. But we didn't have that back on the Christmas Day back in the day. And so I did a bunch of them, man. My whole family, me, my brothers, my dad, we did a bunch of Christmas Day double shots. And, we always felt for our mom, because God rest her soul, she loved Christmas. She was all about it. And we would have a huge Christmas morning. And then about 10 o'clock, her husband and all her kids jumped in a car and took off. And like 10 in the morning, and she was like, okay, bye. And there she was all day Christmas Day. I mean, look, she had friends, but Christmas Day's family and friends, and half of that was gone in her world. We always felt for that. And as time went on, we all tried to be at home more. Yeah, look, everything changes. Everything in life does. I don't care what anybody says. And over time, things changed. And wrestling became more of something that you didn't do on Christmas Day. In my mind, as we speak, I still think a Christmas night show would draw a huge crowd. Simply because if you think about it, anybody listening might right now go, "Oh yeah, no, I disagree with that." But I would ask the listener or the viewer to literally go, "Okay, I'm going to remember hearing this, and on Christmas night, I'm going to see what I'm doing." And look, some people like me eat all they can eat and get fat and happy, and
Mm-hmm.
go, "I'm not leaving this recliner." And then some people, like kids would get money for Christmas and go, "Hey, I want to buy a wrestling. I'll buy a wrestling ticket if you buy one. If you buy one." And then the whole family comes to wrestling and just has a good time. And uh, my family was the family that went and wrestled and had a good time. And so, um, I don't know. It's a double edged sword, I know, but I don't feel like anybody's on the fence about it. I feel like people go, "Yeah, I'm always looking for something to do on Christmas night," and look, coming and having fun and getting out and screaming and yelling. To me, that's a good time, but I know it's not for everybody.
Yeah, for sure. That sounds like a. It sounds like it was probably fun the first couple of years, and then by the time you were like, yeah, these long drives from Birmingham to Knoxville suck.
Well, look, it's your job. You know what I mean? It's um, anybody listening that has a job that they go to 5 days a week. I promise you, a couple of those days every week, they go, "God, I wish I didn't have to make this drive." I don't care if it's 5 minutes or 55 minutes. Um, a commute is a commute, and
Yeah,
it doesn't matter what you're doing. I just had a really fun job that I really loved, and
yeah.
still do. uh,
Oh, so going from that to when you were in WWE, what were Christmas days like there?
so for the longest time, we were off on Christmas Day. We didn't run shows for years on Christmas Day, and then all of a sudden one year Christmas Day fell on a Monday, which, as you know, Monday Night Raw, which is live TV most of the time, at least 51 days, 51 weeks out of the year. And they, um, so they, we get there on a, gosh, well, I guess it was a SmackDown on a Friday night. And we have a team meeting. And at that time, Vince McMahon was the boss. And he walks in and says, and they call the team meeting. Vince walks in and says, "Hey guys, so I just want to let everybody know USA Network pays us for live content, and we are going to keep giving them live content. So we are going to have live content on Christmas night. Um, it's not anything personal towards anyone. It's just business, and we all signed up for it." And look, he was right. As a dad and all that, I was heard that and went, "Oh man, that's a bummer." But I did sign up for it. I did take that on in my life. So it meant I was going to be with my road family. You know what I mean? I was on the road and in the trenches with these guys, 52 weeks a year or whatever. And so I was just going to be with my extended family on Christmas night. That's what it meant to me. And so then it comes down to the week before, and I get the email, "Hey, it's gonna kind of be a skeleton crew, so you will have Christmas night off. You can spend it with your family." And I went, "Woo, yes, man!" I was able to be at home and then watch it on TV and send text message to all my friends saying, "Hey, thank you for doing what you're doing and creating the entertainment that my family and I enjoy, and I appreciate you doing that for me." And that's it's funny, Mike. I'll tell you this, and I know people are listening and watching, but um, like you see somebody in the airport, and the first thing people think of is, "Oh, let me go get a picture with them." And you think about the last thing you think about is what's going through that person's mind, whether it be a movie star or a TV star or a music star or a wrestler, anybody. You don't think about, wonder what kind of day they're having before you go, oh, I want to take a picture with them. And you just go, hey, can I get a picture? And so I'd made my mind up a long time ago. If I had that opportunity, I wasn't going to take a picture. I was just going to go to them and go, hey, I'm sorry to bother you. I just wanted to say thank you for all the entertainment you bring to me and my family. I really appreciate it. And just walk away. And so over time, and look, I did that over time, like 2 or 3 different times to usually TV personalities, because you would see those people flying regular airlines, not flying on private jets. And so, and every time they would just smile and say, thank you, because in your heart, those people are taking time away from their families and their friends to go do what they do. And yes, they're getting paid for it. Yes, they're making money. I get all that. But at the same time, it's their job. And so to be able to just say thank you to them, that meant a lot to me. Look, do I want a picture with all these people? I do. But I feel like if I really did appreciate them, it would mean more to them to just be thanked. And so I did that a few times, and almost every time they would go, oh my God, thank you. I mean, it took them by surprise, because so many people would be coming up going, hey, can I take a picture? Can I take a picture? And so I don't know. To me, Christmas is about family. Christmas is about giving. Christmas is about, look, at the end of the day, I'm a believer. And so Jesus Christ, that's what it's about to me. And I'm sorry to get all like that on this podcast, but I'm not sorry at the same time. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yep.
I believe that there was a man that walked the earth named Jesus Christ. I have multiple friends that believe there was not a man who walked this earth called Jesus Christ. I'm telling you, a number of them. And the funniest part of that is their morals are just like mine. They treat people with respect. They do for people, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. They do all that. They just don't believe that there was a man named Jesus Christ that walked this earth. To me, I do believe that. I was raised that way. And I do believe that it's the reason that we celebrate. And so I don't know, man. I know I'm rambling and going in 100 different directions, but I just feel like Christmas is special and it should be treated as such. And I love it, man. I love that and wrestling. And I'm glad you're here, Mike. I know I'll probably say this at the end of the podcast, and we're at the halfway point, but I appreciate you, what you've done. I appreciate the work that you put in behind the scenes. I appreciate Collar and Elbow for coming in with us, Bones Coffee for coming in with us, and both those sponsors coming in early in our podcasting days within the first couple of months. And here we are with, I don't even know what episode this is, but
25.
25 episodes. And so you think about that, half a year we've been going, and wow, you know what I mean? That's crazy. And Collar and Elbow and Bones Coffee, they believed in us and took a chance. And here we are. And so, hey, thanks, guys. I appreciate it personally. I get to come on here and talk about what I love, and you get to do all the dirty work. And so I appreciate that, man. Working on Christmas Day. Dude, if you literally called me on Christmas morning and said, Scott, let's do an episode, I would say, let me open these presents with my family. Let me go to my in-laws and eat the awesome dinner they are going to fix, because, dude, every Christmas is unbelievable. And then when I get home, let's do a podcast. And that would be no harm, no foul. I would love it. It would be
Yep.
awesome.
Yeah.
So,
I
like I said too, Mike, in 2023, I want to have more. I want to have guests on. I want to
yeah.
have, and that's, I know, more work for you, and I'm sorry, but I think it would make our podcast
Yeah.
more fun. I really do. I'm going to have my brother come on first, Road Dog, because he's the most full of what family member I have.
That's funny. I
Uh,
yeah. Hey, look, this is the first Christmas that I am off since my son was born.
wow.
I have worked every Christmas last 4 years. And I told my wife the other day, I was, it really hit me while we were in the mountains. I was like, this is really the first Christmas that I get to do anything with you guys. Last year, I got to wake up and do presents, and
Yeah.
my job, they said, stay home. You come in 3 hours late. I came in 3 hours late, but I
Yeah.
still didn't get to spend the day.
No, I know what you're saying.
I woke up, threw my clothes on, watched them open presents and said, "See you later, kids."
Yeah.
But this year, man, this year's gonna be special. I We were wrapping presents, getting ready for Santa Claus, doing all that stuff.
It's the
It's
best.
really gonna be fun,
It it is.
and then I'm thankful that I get to do this podcast with you, man. Like when we first started, we talked about it. It was just a right place, right time kind of thing. It worked out, and it worked out.
It worked out. Yep.
This has been great. It's been a lot of fun for me. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun at the same time.
Mike, do you guys do? Does your family do anything special on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, or
So
like a
we
tradition thing y'all do?
so we always my side of the family always did Christmas Eve at my mama and papa's house, my great grandparents. They've passed away, and everybody kind of gets together, but not everybody.
Yeah.
And my wife's family, they always do Christmas Eve dinner, and that's Christmas Eve's my wife's birthday.
Oh,
So we
oh wow, dude, the pressure is on you so bad.
yeah.
uh,
Yeah, she's Christmas baby. And so we've been going to her. It was her grandmother's house, and when her grandmother passed away, we go to her mom's house now.
yeah.
But I'll be setting up a swing set playground in 12-degree weather on Christmas Eve. I'll
Awesome.
be I'll be putting together what Santa Claus is bringing my kids.
Well, brother,
The
you got to call Dwayne Bell in there and make him come help you.
yeah, yeah. Call old Dwayne up. Say, hey, Dwayne,
Yeah, yeah.
come.
We at my house so my wife works retail. I've always talked about that, and so on Christmas Eve she'll work till probably 5 o'clock, and when she comes home, uh, my daughter, her husband, her son, my grandson, and my son. When my wife gets home, we're just the immediate family is here, and we have nothing but appetizers. And I'm talking, I'll have chili cheese dip in the crock pot,
Oh,
and nachos, and the little wrapped beanie weenie gimmicks in the oven. I mean, it's like 6 or 8 appetizers, and
mhm.
so not a dinner because the next day we're gonna get up in the morning. My son-in-law makes a casserole, breakfast casserole. So he makes it at his house, and they open their gifts, and they come over here, and we stick it right in the. We have the oven warmed up for him. We stick it in the
Mhm.
oven, and so then we have that together and open gifts, and then we go to my in-laws, and that's where we have the Mac Daddy dinner. And so, man, I look forward to it. Once we do Thanksgiving, I start looking forward to this because, man, my in-laws can cook, dude. I'm telling you, they're from Clarksburg, West Virginia, and they can cook, and I mean old school cook. I'm talking good food, and so I get there, and my mother-in-law, God bless her, Scotty, do you have enough? Scotty, do you need some more? Here, Scotty. And my father-in-law, he's in there just dude, it's Christmas, man. You know what I mean? It's family. And so my parents are gone, and I have the memories. I went by their gravesite the other day and put so one of those little like Dollar Tree solar snowman gimmick
Yeah.
that lights up at night. And so I put that at their headstone. And as I drove away, I couldn't help but start laughing because I'm telling you right now, my mom would have said, "Oh, Scotty, thank you so much. I really love that. Thank you so much." And my dad would have said, "Oh, come on, boy. Why waste that money?" Oh man, I miss them. I do.
Yeah.
I do. But I still got my in-laws, and look, I've been married for 36 years, so I literally love them to death. They're great people and great cooks.
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
That's my mother-in-law. She cooks dinner all the time for us, and my wife will call me on the phone with her, and I'll just be like, Tracy, what you cooking me for dinner? And she'll go, well, what do you want? I'll be like, what do you have in the freezer?
yeah, anything you cook
Yeah.
means I don't have to cook it, so it's
She
good.
she did chicken and dumplings the other day, and
Oh, that's what I'm talking about
that
right
was
there.
that was leftovers I had for lunch today.
Oh,
Threw in a piece of cornbread, chicken and
yes.
dumplings. If you guys are listening to this in Cambodia or one of these foreign countries that we have
Yes.
fans and listeners,
And
and
thank you for listening.
thank you for listening. But chicken and dumplings,
Yeah,
you got to
they
try
know. If they're listening, they know.
it.
Yeah, it's funny because with all this cold weather, my wife had said the other day, "Hey, are you gonna?" Because last winter I made a bunch of soups in the crock pot. For me, crock pot cook. I wake up early, stick in the crock pot. It's ready at lunch and it's
Mhm.
ready all day. You know what I mean? And so she said, "Hey, are you gonna cook some of these soups?" Like, "Hey, what are we waiting on?" It's basically what I took it as. And I said, "Oh yeah, yeah, no, I'm going to." And I'd made chili the other day, but it wasn't. She said it wasn't cold enough outside for chili. So she didn't eat much of it. But brother, I can tell you, I had chili cheese slaw dogs. Oh my God. I said, man, what have I've been cheating myself not making these more often. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
Needless to
My
say.
wife asked me the other day. She said, "When are you cooking me a roast?"
Yeah, you got that good grill though. That's why she wants you
Yeah,
to grill it.
yeah. I got a great smoker. I my dream my entire life has been to open up a barbecue like a catering company because I love to cook barbecue, man, and I love to cook it for people. And that's just like I love when people call me and say, "Mike, can you bring me some ribs?" What Freshways got the baby backs on sale. I done went and bought four racks. Can you cook them for me? And I just love doing it.
Heck yeah,
And
man. That's the fun part. It is. Of course,
and
eating it's fun too.
oh yeah, my dad. If I mention ribs, he starts salivating. I've watched him put down a whole rack. But my mom asked me the other day, she goes, "So what are we thinking about doing for New Year's?" And I was like, "Well, usually you do collard greens and
Yeah.
something like that." She goes, "Well, I'm
Black
going to change it up this year." And I was like,
black
"Oh
eyed
God,
peas.
don't do that to me."
Yeah.
So she was
I
like,
I
I'm thinking
won't.
about ribs," and my dad said, "I'll buy them."
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm in.
So
I'm in.
I look forward to the food. We do another tradition is my mom always does her homemade sausage balls.
Yeah.
Um, Christmas Eve night, we'll go by there and do Christmas with her and my dad. And sausage balls, it is. Actually, we're doing that tonight. We were going to do it Christmas Eve night, but we're doing it tonight. So I am riding over there in about what time is it?
As soon as we get through.
Yeah. As soon as we get
Uh,
done, I'm going to change into my nicer clothes because I'm in my pajamas, which is
Hey, Mike, I'm going to need you to dress a little better for our podcast, man. Come on. You got to
and
dress for the job you want, right? Not the job you have.
I want this job, baby. If I could sit here in my
Uh,
pajamas and talk to you
that
and
is,
people don't know it.
hey, as long as you're wearing something, that's all I care about. You a freak, Mike. You a freak. Oh God, that's awesome.
Oh man, it's and I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to dinner tonight and
Yeah, I
Christmas
guess.
and
Hey, listen, let's let's talk about wrestling this week. Um, I don't have any idea what AEW is doing. I don't have any idea what WWE is doing other than Zoe Stark versus Nikita Lyons, I think is her
Yeah.
last name. Let me tell you
Yeah.
something. Zoe Stark. So I had tweeted her earlier this week and just told her, you're there. Her focus, her attention to detail, her uh, in ring performance. I mean, she's comparable to a Bret Hart for females. And
Wow.
and I shouldn't even use the word females. I should just stop. I should just stop with she's comparable to Bret Hart because her in-ring performance is undeniable. She's unreal. And anybody listening, anybody watching, I would ask you to watch NXT and look for Zoe Stark. I told her a long time ago. I said, "Hey, I got something for you," and she said, "What?" And I said, "Hashtag Stark Mark," because I am. I'm a Stark Mark. She came to NXT, and her first couple of weeks there, I was working there at the time, and I asked her straight up, "Hey, what is your? I mean, how did you get here? Who? How were you never spotted on the indie scene? And how did you?" And she said, I don't know. I just work hard and dude, that I mean, I've never I haven't been able to take my eye off of her work. Even look, I was released. It was almost a year ago, January 4th of 2022 is when I was released, and I still see her making positive steps forward. And when you see that, you go, "Wow, man, she's not even there yet." You know what I mean? She's not at the pinnacle yet. Yet her ring work for NXT, her ring work, she's standout. And so I feel like if you're a listener or a viewer and you watch NXT, the next time you watch her, you might want to watch her through a different lens and see, watch how she does all her moves, watch how she steps into her opponent's moves. Um, she's unreal. I can't speak highly enough about her. And I know in the past I had talked about Mandy Rose being the champion for NXT for so long. Uh, Look, people on social media were very upset about Mandy being released, and uh, I get it. But at the same time, if you are somebody that was upset about that and you were listening to this podcast or watching this podcast, I would ask you to step outside the box and think about this. WWE is a publicly traded entity on the stock exchange. It is a multi-billion-dollar company. So if you think about that, then you think about, oh, well, there must be rules and regulations somewhere along the line that I personally don't know about. And look, I worked for WWE on and off for 15 years, more than 15 years. There are things I don't know about, but I do know about a lot of things. And so I feel like if we were all enlightened to all the rules and regulations, we might understand that the multi-billion-dollar company that is publicly traded had good reason to release her. I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if it's not true. I don't know the details. I just know that Mandy Rose carried that title for NXT for a long time, and she did a great job doing it. I wish her nothing but the best. Her fiance, I think still fiance, I don't think they got married, Tino Sabatelli, good dude, always good to me. I wish them nothing but the best. Uh, but in big industry, the ball keeps rolling.
Yep.
And look, they got rid of me, and somehow the show's still on the air. I don't understand it. But they got rid of my brother, and somehow, wait, what? They hired him back. I don't even know what's going on here. But look, it is a multi-billion-dollar company, and I feel like anybody that's watching it, Triple H has taken over the reins and run with it. And for me personally, it's a funner show to watch. It feels refreshed and revived, and I enjoy it. And so I didn't see it last week, so I have no idea what they're doing going into Christmas. But I have been watching it a lot lately, and SmackDown too, because they got my P-Cola boys, Roman Reigns and the Usos, who all literally graduated from Pensacola High School. And so, I like to watch that crew and what Sami Zayn's doing. He is a phenomenal in-ring personality. And so, and all the guys, man, everybody, look, they're all lifetime friends. So I enjoy watching them and just seeing the direction the company's going. And it looks like the company's going to up. The whole William Regal with the AEW situation, I have no idea. I have not spoken personally to William Regal, so I have no idea what's going on. And so I don't want to speculate until I hear it from his mouth. It's just wrestling gaga. You know what I mean? It's just the rumor mill. And so once I talk to him, then maybe I'll be able to speak on that just a little bit. But look, 2023. Here are my thoughts. 2023 and wrestling, sports entertainment, whatever you want to call it. As a fan / viewer, man, do we have a 2023 to look forward to?
Yeah.
I really think so. With Impact and AEW and WWE and MEW and Diamond Championship Wrestling on the Gulf Coast. Diamond Championship Wrestling. I worked for them just a few weeks ago, and so and truly, I've been so away from the Gulf Coast, traveling the planet, that to see Revolt Wrestling is here on the Gulf Coast. To see the organizations here and what they're doing, for the fans of pro wrestling, it's awesome. It's cool, and I'm looking forward to 2023 and glad to still be around to be a part of it, dude. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And the New Day also won the NXT Tag Team
Yes.
Championships, which I thought was great for the NXT brand, because all
Yes.
that's going to do is help elevate the other tag teams in NXT.
That's a fact, dude. That is a fact. Yeah, it's a huge shot in the arm for NXT to have New Day repping the company. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. But on to everybody's favorite part of the Armstrong Avenue podcast, where you can submit your questions. Anything you want to ask to hashtag Ask Scott. You can tweet us, you can DM us, or the best way to get these questions asked and answered is to ask them in the Armstrong Avenue podcast community group on Facebook, which is growing every day. And that makes me happy. I love having this community of great listeners and great people that have really become friends. And we have some great questions today.
So Mike, me being not Facebook savvy, how does that work to be a member of the community?
So you go into Facebook, you go to the search bar, type in Armstrong Avenue Podcast fan page, and it should pull up. It should be one of the first things. Click it, and you just ask to join. And I'll go in as soon as you're asked to join. Then that sends an alert to me. I go in and approve it. And I could open it up to where anybody could join, but then you get like bots and randoms, and the next thing you know, they're trying to sell TVs and stuff in your and no, I have to moderate that.
Gotcha.
And
gotcha. See, so, I don't know about that stuff, so I'm glad you're the manning the operation.
Yeah. I run about 5 different groups on Facebook, so I know all about the bots and next thing you know, they're trying to sell, X-rated magazine subscriptions to everybody under a fake account that has your face on it.
Yeah, I don't
They do
know.
it to me all the time. I promise you, I'm not selling that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Big Mike takes on a whole new meaning.
Oh, no.
Yes, but I'm pumped. Thank you very much. I'll be here 10
Oh,
minutes.
oh, man. So,
Uh,
we'll get into the first question, man. This is a great question, in my opinion. I'm really excited about this one. From
and as always, we have not discussed what these questions are.
No, no, not at all.
These will literally be the first time I'm hearing them.
Yep.
So go for
So,
it, man.
from Bill Emmons, I apologize if I pronounced that wrong, I'm sorry. Hashtag Ask Scott, with wrestling as it is today, which company would you see either Brad or Bob, both in their prime, in today? Me personally, I would say AEW, as it has a lot of the old school feel and not just the sports entertainment of WWE.
So I agree with him on half of it. My dad was made for WWE because of the showmanship of it. Listen, the character, the Bullet, was made for WWE. Man, if he had come along and been the Bullet, uh, you know, later in life and worked for WWE, he had the opportunity to go to WWE when he was young for Vince McMahon Sr. And he turned it down because he was going to be on the road, all the time, and he had 4 sons. Excuse me, and he turned it down for family, which I never forgot and always appreciated because I got to grow up seeing my dad. And but I do feel the character of he would have been a star, for WWF back in the day. He would have been a star as one of the top baby faces. I have no doubt about that. But then the character, the Bullet, that he became after the weightlifting accident when the weights fell on his face and he put the mask on, that was a character. He came out to George Thorogood's Bad to the Bone. He danced going to the ring. WWE would have done unbelievable things just with that entrance as far as packages and things they showed on TV. So, Brad, on the other hand, without a doubt, the best mat technician / wrestler in our family. And with AEW highlighting a lot of wrestling, look, they highlight a lot of other stuff too, but I feel like Brad, as good as he was, would have been highlighted big time in AEW. So, and look, truth be known, Brad would have also been very highlighted in Impact. Um, Impact highlights wrestling. They do. And so, the one show I did a couple of shows for Impact, and one of them I was able to referee the women's championship match. And wow, unreal. At the time, Mia Kim was there and Jordan Grace, and those two ladies, man, they put on a performance. And I was fortunate enough to be in the ring with them, and honored to be in the ring with them because, man, were they good. And so I just feel like Brad would have fit there too. My dad would have too. I mean, Bullet Bob, look, he would fit anywhere. But as far as being truly highlighted, I think WWE would have been, had him written all over it. And Bill, I hope that answers your question. And thank you for asking it. That's cool to think about.
Yep, I enjoyed that question. I knew there was going to be some good answer to that. Moving on to the next question, Johnny Sanders. I know in the last episode we had mentioned Chris Benoit, and he wanted to further ask a question, not really geared towards him, but I'll just ask the question. Johnny Sanders asks, hashtag Ask Scott. I believe Chris Benoit may have been the best wrestler in history, pound for pound. Where do you think Danny Davis, the Nightmare, measures up to him? And what would a match between them look like, in your opinion?
Oh wow. I mean, look, we if I'm being totally honest, we work in a big man's business. Um, Danny Davis and Chris Benoit, both probably 5'10", and for some reason, if you're 6'4", you can sell out an arena. And I'm not saying it can't be done at 5'10". Daniel Bryan did it, and I was there to witness it and in the match with him. So it can be done now, but back in those days, uh, promoters, bookers, whatever you want to call them, they did not take the chance on a smaller guy. And I'm so happy now that they do, because I feel like back in those days, man, the world missed out on some really good wrestling. And they didn't miss out on it because it would have been earlier in the show. It just, they just missed the opportunity to highlight it. And, uh, later on as the years went by, it was highlighted. Danny Davis and Ken Wayne were the Nightmares, as we've talked about on previous episodes, and they were like the most unbelievable tag team ever. Um, do I think Danny Davis versus Chris Benoit would be unbelievable matches? Oh my gosh, yes. And not only would I pay to watch it, but I would love to ref it. You know what I mean? I mean, it would be awesome to be a referee in that match. Um, their styles were, I mean, kind of alike. I mean, Danny Davis was a go getter, and I saw him. Well, it's been a few years back. He's a man. He's a good dude. He taught me a lot about wrestling, as did Chris. And so, and I traveled a lot with Chris and worked a lot with Danny. And so, uh, I don't know, man. Those matches are the dream match that you wish you had seen when you were young, and definitely something I wish I could have seen and been a part of.
Yep. Great question. Great question. Phenomenal one. I think we got time for one more before we get out of here. Austin Infinger asks, hashtag ask Scott, what was travel like in WCW? Was it up to you guys or was transportation provided?
So, with the major companies, travel is provided as far as uh, flights. Uh, you were responsible for your own rent a car. You were responsible for your own hotel room. Um, and so, because you were an independent contractor, you signed on to work for the company, and they signed on to pay you and get you there. They didn't sign on to get you from the airport to the hotel. They didn't sign on to put you in a hotel. Um, Once I became an employee for WWE, then I got my rent a car and my hotel. But prior to that, as a wrestler or slash talent, um, look, travel is travel. I mean, you can look at TikTok right now and type in somebody having a crazy fit at an airport, and you'll see 30 people that miss their flight and they're just losing their mind. It's it's not the person standing there's fault, man. It's something you got to learn early. Is travel is just travel. It's once you pull up to the airport and get out of your car, nothing is in your hands. Nothing. It's all in everybody else's hands, but not yours. No matter how much you scream, yell, holler, whatever you do, nothing is in your hands. You have a ticket, you stand in line, you're the sheep, and you get in line and you do what they ask. And if you create a scene, you personally created a scene, and that's how travel was and is. And so, yeah, with WCW, with WWE, as a wrestler in WCW, as a referee with WWE, it just is what it is. You know you have to be at Monday Night Raw, or you knew you had to be at Monday Nitro for WCW, and they send you your air travel. Well, you're a grown man or a grown woman. It's up to you to decide what time you're leaving your house to go get to the airport. It's up to you when you land in Indianapolis, what time when you land, what time you can pick up your rent a car, and how many people you can put in that rent a car. Because, dude, the reality is, if if I know I'm in Indianapolis, I know there's a whole roster of guys that have to be there. So I'd call two or three of those guys and go, hey, usually I had my brother with me too, but I'd call a couple other guys and say, hey, what time do you land in Indianapolis? Do y'all want to split a rent a car? And then you're cutting up the price of the rent a car into fours instead of just taking it on by yourself or taking it on with your brother. And same thing. Hey, what hotel are y'all staying at? We're going to stay at the Days Inn or whatever, or the Marriott or whatever. And to be able to split it with my brother's dream come true, because now I'm splitting the price of the hotel room. But if they're going to stay at the same hotel, or if they're not, here's the vicinity we're staying. And so you travel with them in the rent a car, you drop them off at their hotel and then go to your hotel. You just make do, because here's the kicker. You leave your home with your wife and children, the people that you love the most. You leave that to go make a living. And it doesn't matter if I'm in Dallas running in circles at 3 a.m. It only matters that the day that I'm supposed to be at the arena at a certain time that I've been given to be there, it only matters if I'm on time. That's the only thing that matters. So that's the way I looked at it. Look, some people pull up 2 or 3 hours late. Hey, man, that's on them. I can only tell you how Scott did it. And Scott tried to be on time and not give anybody a reason to go, hey, man, what's wrong with you? Main reason, Mike, I loved my job. I still do. I love wrestling. And, I used to always say in WWE, hey, they didn't fly us halfway around the world to not be on time. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
That's how it was. WCW, whatever organization you're with, to me, that's the outlook you should have.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, great question, Austin. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank
And
you, dude.
like we said, if you guys want to submit any question, ask anything. You can ask him his favorite color, his favorite beverage before he wakes up.
Green is my favorite color.
Well, don't ask that anymore. We already know. I mean, ask anything. Hashtag Ask Scott. Join that fan club on Facebook. Before we get out of here, I want to send my thoughts and prayers out to my friend and a wrestler with MEW. He's an independent wrestler in the state of Georgia, Zach Mosley of the Exotic Youth. He is suffering through a really bad back injury right now that's put him out for an unknown amount of time. And, dude, I'm thinking about you. We'll see you January 28th. You're going to be managing your boys, the Exotic Youth. Love you, dude. We're going to get out of here.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Merry Christmas.
Yep. Merry Christmas.